Hello, my name is Samalit Hogan, and I put together this video to share information about the Biz-M-Power grant now in 2025. It has changed from the previous years, so let's get started. Now, what is the Biz-M-Power grant? It is a matching grant created by Mass Development. Grants are up to $50,000 for growth focused small business and micro businesses. You must show that you have at least 20% of the grant request available in a business bank account. The program timeline is it started already. The grant is available May 12th, and the deadline is June 15th, 2025. Awards will be announced August through September 2025. It has several eligibility requirements, and I highly recommend you go through them and make sure you're eligible before you apply. You must be located and operating in Massachusetts. That means that you must be a Massachusetts resident as well as having your business registered here in Massachusetts, either with the state or with the city and town. You must also have a brick and mortar location. They call this a public facing facility where people can visit you either to get, um, buy your services or buy your products. You must have fewer than 20 full time equivalent employees. That means if you have, for example, 10 part time employees, that counts as 5 full time equivalent employees. So you can do the math depending on how many full time and part time employees you have on payroll. You must earn less than $2.5 million in revenue a year. You must be operating for at least 3 months. So startups can apply for this grant, but your business registration or your LLC needs to show that you've been operating for at least 3 months. You must be owned by the business must be owned by someone that's 18 years old or older. The business must have at least one owner of low or moderate income, and I'll show you later in the presentation how they determine that income eligibility. And the business must not be a nonprofit, must not be selling cannabis or real estate sales or lobbying related. By following this link or Googling Hot Income Limits 2024, you can get to a website where it will show you a table based on the number of people in your household for your city or town. It will say what the income limits are. So basically, if your income, based on the number of people in your household, falls within that table, then you are considered low moderate income for that area. That doesn't mean that you're poor. That just means that according to HUD, your household income is considered low or moderate for that area where you live. And at least one owner of the business must have this eligibility. Now, the grant can be used for several things: acquiring, expanding, improving, or leasing a facility. That means you can use it to rent a second location, expand your business, do some leasehold improvements or some renovations. You can also use it for purchasing and leasing equipment. It cannot be used to buy commercial vehicles, though. I'm going to mention that again later. But you can buy equipment for the business, and I'll share a couple of examples later on the presentation. So the funds can be used to meet other capital needs that the business has at this time. The funds cannot be used for payroll or employee benefits, cannot use it for inventory, working capital, marketing, or website development. You can't use it to reimburse yourself for stuff that you already bought. You cannot use it to purchase commercial vehicles or lease commercial vehicles. And you cannot use it for operational leases. Now, this is how the 20% match works. The 20% is based on the total project cost. So if you're going for the 50,000, that means that you have a $60,000 project and you're putting down $10,000. You have them already in cash in a bank account, in a business bank account, that matches the name of the business that's applying for the grant, and that makes you then eligible to for $50,000 grant. That's how it works. And there's other amounts there to kind of show you some examples. A total project cost of $30,000 will require you then to have a $5,000 in the bank account at the time that you apply for it. Now, keep this in mind. The idea is that you're going to put those $5,000 towards the $30,000 project. So you can't just show one day that you have them, and when it comes time to actually do the project, well, it might not be the $5,000 that you have today that's in the bank account in the future, but you'll still need the $5,000 later to complete your project. So just keep that in mind. There's a list of required documents. Some of them may apply to you, some of them may not, depending on the type of entity. For example, if you're an LLC, a partnership, or a corporation, you will need to provide a certificate of good standing from the Secretary of State, not the Department of Revenue, the Secretary of State. You can go to the Secretary of State website, look up your corporation, and request a certificate online. Now, if the certificate could take a while to arrive, so as long as you have proof that you've requested the certificate that is on its way, you could upload that in your application if it doesn't come in time. If you're not an LLC or a partnership or a corporation, you're not registered with the state, you may be a sole proprietor, which is also known as a DBA, and you can get a copy. You'll need to provide a copy of your business certificate from your city or town. You also need to provide your federal tax returns, both your business tax return and your personal tax returns from 2023 or 2024. You don't need both. You can do 2023 or 2024, and they want the entire package. And that means all of the schedules, including the personal stuff. They want to look at your income, they want to verify that you are who you are and that you do qualify for these grant funds. The other thing too, if you're an LLC, your business tax returns might be in the same package as your personal. That's fine. You can upload the entire package twice, under business and under personal. That's not a problem. Lastly, if the business has more than one owner, any owner that owns at least 20% or more of the business needs to provide their federal tax returns, right? The federal personal tax returns, they need to provide them as well. All of the business owners are required to provide a valid photo ID. Must provide copies of the front and back of that ID. A signed W-9 form for the business is required as well. You can download a free W-9 form from irs.gov and fill it out. You also need to provide a copy of a lease statement, a tenant a will agreement, or a mortgage statement for those who own their building where you have your location. Basically, you want to provide proof that you have a public facing physical business location, not a virtual office, not a PO box. It's a location, commercial location where people can actually come and visit. Some of the businesses have asked me this question: what if I go to my clients, they don't come to me? I I have my business in a yard where there's a lot of trucks and a lot of vehicles. I don't really want my clients to come visit me. But the truth of the matter is that if you have employees coming there to pick up the trucks, to pick up the vans, and you do have an office there, theoretically, a client could come visit you there. And you're paying a lease, you're renting that location. Therefore, you do have a public facing location. You just don't use it as often to have your clients go there. Other folks ask me, I have a home daycare. Do I qualify? No. If it's a home based business, any type of home based business does not qualify for this grant. Some of you may need to provide a copy of your federal issue ID if you don't have a regular driver's license. Also, you need to provide proof of that 20% of the requested grant funds. and that's in the form of a bank statement. You usually can provide a copy of the front of the bank statement. The first page of the bank statement usually has the name of your business and the account balance. That should be sufficient. Many of you do online banking. There's always a way to request bank statements from online banking. But if you have any trouble there, visit your local branch and request a hard copy of your latest statement. And that should be, you should be able to scan that and upload it into the application. With the application, you also want to submit all invoices, quotes, and contracts supporting the project that you say you'll be doing. So keep that in mind. If you're working with contractors and you need quotes, you got to do that as soon as possible. Some people may ask, well, why do I don't have all the quotes, everything that I need prior to the deadline? Unfortunately, you could submit it, but it will be incomplete. And it's not guaranteed that you'll get the funds. Probably not. So you do want to have all of these documents ready to go in the application by June 15th. Here's some examples of projects. For example, a catering business could build out a commercial kitchen, that they're leasing a space and they're buying the equipment to have that commercial kitchen. A beauty salon, for example, could use it to buy a new point of sale system or salon chairs. If there's a successful retail store that wants to expand to a second location, they can submit information there so that they can get help to pay for that second location, the rent, the lease, or the improvements. For those of you who need to have ADA compliant restrooms, you could use the funding to do that. And for a cleaning company, for example, they could use it to purchase commercial grade equipment. And again, the example with the cleaning company would be you do have an office that's leased, even if customers don't come to visit you there. It's a commercial location where they could, if they wanted to. Somebody and you receive your mail there, and you have an office there. It's a public facing business location, not a virtual office, no, not a PO box. The mass development has provided a list of resources. They have a small business resource directory right on their website. You can click on the link and get to it. As the date of today, which is May 27th, there's still two more info sessions that they're providing. Excuse me. Virtual office hours, they call them. One is on June 3rd at noon. There's a link here to register. You can also find this link on Mass Development's website. And if you have any questions about the program, even myself, sometimes I find having questions. I'm not an expert at this program. There's a lot of changes this year. I'm used to applying for this type of grants, but even I have questions sometimes. This is the email to send it to: Biz-M-Power at massdevelopment.com. I'm also offering a virtual meeting, a 30-minute virtual meeting to help you put your application together if you need that help. And if none of the times they are available to you, you can email me at somalit@bostonimpact.org, and I'll do my best to accommodate your schedule. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.